Well, China has warned US officials to not interfere in its relationship with India. The Pentagon said in its report, Chinese officials emphasized Beijing's intent to preserve border stability and prevent the standoff from harming other areas of its bilateral relationship with India, the Pentagon has said. So this is the latest that we're getting in. And a stern warning from China going towards the United States, saying do not interfere with our affairs with India. This continues the kind of friction that we've been witnessing between the states and China, this time around with India being the trigger point, and it's told US to not interfere in its workings with India and relationship with India. This is a report that's come from the Pentagon, in fact, and this warning is something that report states. This is some breaking news at this point in time, and we are awaiting more details, and we'll try to connect with one of our correspondents to get you more details on this. Going across to my colleague Abhishek Jha, who tracks the MEA very closely. Abhishek, what seems to have been the trigger point or the reason for this particular the warning that was issued by the China to US?
So in the latest calling the latest Pentagon report, something that is sort of interfering between the two nations, China has called that the USA should stay away from it, and this whole crisis between India and China, which is having like the standoff of military at the northern border of India, and the Ladakh crisis, the Galwan in the aftermath of Galwan crisis, is something that there is an issue between the two countries, and they will sort it out. And USA needs to stay away from the whole crisis. We know in the past USA has expressed its full support to India on the issue of border clashes with China, and also supported India militarily. There have been a lot of defense cooperation between India and China, and that is also keeping in mind India's challenges and concern and its northern borders. In fact, there are other countries also where India has been procuring military equipment, keeping in mind the needs of northern borders. So in that context, probably China has clearly said that USA should stay away from this crisis, and should not try to interfere between India and China's bilateral relationship.
Abhishek, can you tell us when this report was dated? We know even recently India and China, the United States held joint military exercises near the border, but when was the date of this particular report?
So this report came on Tuesday, where Pentagon has said that throughout this standoff with India along LAC, Chinese officials sought to downplay the severity of the crisis, emphasizing Beijing's intent to preserve border stability and prevent the standoff from harming other areas of its bilateral relationship with India. Means the Chinese official also tried to play down the crisis that was happening along the LAC. And this is what the Pentagon report mentions, that during this whole standoff, military standoff, Galwan clash, where 20 Indian soldiers died, and probably more Chinese soldiers are reported to have died. However, China has still not confirmed how many soldiers casualty it faced during the clash, how many injuries happened, what was the overall damage that Chinese side got incurred due to this whole clash at the Galwan. So even now, China has not come out in very clear terms what all happened at Galwan clash, what was the casualty figures. So in a way, Chinese official did downplay what happened at Galwan, while India did, tell these people what actually happened, how many people came from Chinese side, what happened. So in that context, Pentagon has released this report on Tuesday, where it has said that Chinese officials tried to downplay the Galwan clash. Chinese officials tried to downplay other aspects of bilateral relationship between India and China, which were being impacted by the crisis that was evolving at the borders. So in that reference, China has made it clear that the USA should stay away from interfering or pointing the areas of concerns or anything between India and China.
Thank you very much, Abhishek.